How did we go from living on land in Canada to living on our boat in Mexico in just 12 months? It's been a heck of a ride, and we can't believe everything we've packed into 1 year. Come along with us as we try and answer some of your burning questions about our very exciting year.
It's been 1 year since we kicked land life to the curb and jumped all into boat life.
In this video, we're going to try and answer some of the frequently asked questions that we get. We often get emails and messages asking us how we did it in what appears to be hyper speed with basically no experience. Here's a couple of fun facts to get us started. The first time Mick and I ever stepped foot on a sailboat was in May of 2020.
It's a very interesting day.
A couple of months later, we bought our very first boat. We owned and sailed it for the summer, and we sold it in the fall of 2020. We purchased Meraki just 1 year ago at the start of 2021.
1 year ago.
1 year ago. And then we officially left Canada in September of the same year. So I guess when you look at it that way, we kind of did do it in hyperspeed.
Yep, it was very fast to find a boat the same year, leave your home country the same year, and then sail the whole west coast of the States down to Mexico in that same year.
In the same year. So it's currently February 2022. Probably by the time this video goes out, it might be March, but currently it's the start of February. And we are sitting in sunny Mexico, reminiscing about how far we've come in the last 12 months, and we're just taking the time to really appreciate all that we've accomplished. Look at this.
Private island behind us,
I know,
little
it's so
secluded
beautiful.
beach, there's no one around.
It's a little chilly February.
It is.
And
It actually feels fantastic.
it's kind of nice. You put a sweater on in the morning and we love it. The sun is just coming up. It's a beautiful morning. So come along with us and reminisce about our year and how we got here.
After we purchased Meraki in January 2021, we had a strong desire towards leaving Canada that same year. We did not want to spend a winter in Canada on the boat at the dock. That was the last thing we wanted. I thought that was going to happen, but you were like, no, we're doing it.
We were really determined.
So we had this plan to spend 3 months in the marina after we purchased the boat, and we began the massive job that was Meraki's refit. Between working our regular jobs, having the kids in school, and the massive list of boat jobs, we were exhausted but oh so happy and very, very excited. In May, after being at the marina for 3 months, we hauled Meraki, stuck her on the hard, and then spent 7 weeks completing her refit. By this point, we had both quit our jobs. We were working on the boat full time with the kids still in school.
It was crazy times. So how did we do it? And that is what this video is about. We feel we're not experienced enough to tell you how you should do it.
No.
And a lot of the times when we get emails asking for advice, we don't really feel qualified to be giving advice.
No, we more just tell our story and tell people what we did and see maybe that relates to those people and then they can take that. But as far as saying these are the steps you should take,
that's not what we're doing here.
I don't feel like we're not ready for that.
We're recapping our year, and maybe it will inspire you. There were a few pivotal moments and a lot of help from friends and family that made it all possible.
So our first step was to learn to sail. So we bought a small 24-foot Tanza 7.5 named Swan, and we worked her hard for 3 months. We spent a lot of time learning to maneuver her, working on our navigational skills, our docking skills, and most important, just got used to the motion of the ocean. The hours spent on the water just doing boating things.
And just starting to understand how boats work in general. And it was perfect for that. It was a great little boat.
And I miss it.
Yeah, we all miss her.
We could have towed it.
Could have been our dinghy. So just before we sold Swan, we hired an instructor by the name of Bruce to acquire our Sail Canada certification. Bruce owns a company called Gulf Island Cruising School. We spent 3 full 8-hour days on the water with him, and that certainly gave us the confidence that we needed in the technical sailing. For me especially, it made me a lot more comfortable on the water. Bruce has this amazing way of teaching. He's so calm, and he just like walks you through everything so slow, and he just is like, there's never a rush, just take your time, everything happens really slow out here. And I feel like we've taken that with us.
Oh, 100%. That was just the greatest feeling when we realized that it doesn't have to be a panic situation. Just really take your time, go slow. Everything in a boat can be slow if you want it to be.
Yeah. Bruce is a really great instructor. We highly recommend him if you're in the Victoria area. When we were ready to purchase our blue water sailboat, we started by hiring a purchasing broker. Not everyone does this, but it's sure helped us out. Our broker, Max Shaw, spent years sailing the Pacific with his family. They actually left Canada with 2 kids and returned to Canada with 3. They were out sailing the Pacific for 7 years. After meeting Max and his wife Elizabeth, we were just incredibly inspired and encouraged, and really we couldn't have asked for a better boat broker.
Yeah, it was so helpful having all that wealth of information.
Yeah.
He knew what we needed, he knew what we wanted. He knew what we were looking for, and that was so helpful. And then any advice along the way with regards to the boat or to cruising, he had all the answers.
Yeah.
He didn't just work out of an office, he was on the water and everywhere in between. It was really helpful for us.
And we had, prior to even knowing that Max was a boat broker, we had met up with him and his wife and gone for dinner just to talk about cruising. And I think that's another key fact, is try to reach out to other people who have done this extensively. Meet up with them, pick their brains, because we left that dinner feeling so encouraged and excited and like, okay, we can actually do this.
Yeah.
If you're in the greater Victoria area and you're looking for a sailing instructor or a boat broker, we have listed both Max and Bruce's contact information in the description below.
Once we had laid the building blocks for our sailing career, we did not stop there. We read every book humanly possible on sailing. We studied the areas where we're going to be sailing and soaked up as much information as we could. We then spent 6 months refitting Meraki. We hadn't even sailed on our own yet, and we ripped out her fuel and water tank immediately and got right to work. We pretty much gutted the whole bilge, and we were able to pull out both tanks, just give it a really good scrub down and clean. We could get to every wire down there. We took all the plumbing out and just started from scratch, because once everything's back in, that's really hard to get at. So we're able to put everything where we needed it to be to have access to it, which just paid off and is still paying off now. It's fantastic.
But let's just emphasize, we had never sailed her on our own. We did the sea trial.
Yep.
They delivered the boat to the marina we had booked, and we ripped out the tanks.
Yeah.
So we had never driven her on our own. We had never sailed her. And we were like, it's all good. It's February. We're leaving in September. It's gonna be fine.
And here I am down in the bilge with a hacksaw and a grinder just cutting the tanks out.
At the end of June 2021, just 3 months before we were set to leave Canada, we splashed. We'd never sailed Meraki on our own, but we were determined.
We were.
And maybe slightly, or okay, a lot naive.
We were.
Around the time that we splashed, we also hired Sailing Totem, who offer coaching for those with dreams of cruising. Totem can assist you at any stage of your cruising dreams, whether it be in purchasing a boat, preparing to depart, weather routing along the way, or even supporting cruisers who are done cruising and wanting to transition back into land life. We'll link Totem's website below, along with Bruce's and Max's information below. We highly recommend them. They are a wealth of knowledge. They are still out here cruising. They've been cruising for a decade.
Yeah, I think pretty close to that.
And they help people all over the world, so you don't have to be local to Victoria to utilize their services.
And it's not just their wealth of information and their experience, it's actually their personalities and how they adapt to every single person's individual needs. They just seem to hone in on what you need and know exactly what to say to you to make you feel comfortable and that you can do this.
It is amazing. They're very skilled at what they do. All right, so we're splashed. We've got a network of folks helping us, coaching us, and preparing us for the offshore journey. And we're 3 months away from leaving, and immediately we're off. We don't know what we're doing, but we leave the dock. We have nowhere to keep the boat, so we just leave.
We had people ask that. Oh, so where are you putting the boat when you splash her? Take her out off the hard.
We don't have anywhere.
It's
We're leaving.
in the water.
And now when I look back, no wonder they were asking us that question.
I don't think I'll ever forget when the boat splashed. We stayed at the service dock overnight, and then we had to do a full 180. The first time we'd driven the boat, I had to do a full 180 around all these $1 million boats, head out of the marina. Then we went to the fuel dock, and I remember, this isn't recommended either, we had our dock lines off the boat, and the guys were at the fuel dock, and we were getting close, and we're just like, this is my first time doing this, and then we just threw our dock lines at them.
They were really nice to us.
They were.
They were like, that's okay, everybody has to start somewhere. We're like, yeah, we're leaving in 3 months, but that's cool.
Hi, Bentley.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, Mommy,
Yeah.
do you know where the cookbook is?
Yeah, it's in the bottom drawer. Can you guys open that? Sorry, the kids are doing schoolwork on their own, which is super impressive. They are getting a lot more independent with homeschooling, which is great. Bentley just needed
very
to come.
helpful.
Bentley needed to come and ask us where a cookbook is because his schoolwork today is to research a recipe and make it. So we'll be doing that after this video. Anyway, back to the regular programming.
Yeah, so we had an amazing 2 months traveling up the east coast of Vancouver Island to Desolation Sound. We were semi-familiar with this area. It's very protected. There's a lot of islands. It was just the perfect spot.
The hardest part is crossing
Juan de Fuca
Strait, which we were really nervous about. And now when I look back at that footage,
yeah.
we were so cute. I'll link that video up here as well. But yeah,
it was pretty funny. We were like, okay, we're going across the strait. That's all we got to focus on. We're not going to raise any sails.
We didn't want to sail. We were
That's
so
too much.
nervous. So cute. But yes, we were familiar with it because for years we had gone up every year with my parents on their powerboat. It was kind of our annual trip. We'd go up with them for a week or two, and I grew up sailing Desolation Sound, so it was familiar to both of us. But good Lord, we'd never done it on our own on our own boat. We raised Meraki's sails for the very first time on our own. We did run into some problems along the way, but thankfully, Mick especially knew the boat and all her systems so well.
Yeah, doing that refit ourselves, we had no outside help, was just massive. As soon as anything went wrong, we knew exactly where to go, and that's huge on a boat, especially offshore.
Yeah, honestly, the actual sailing part was the easiest part, and it was when problems arise, knowing how to fix them, that was more nerve-wracking and more challenging. But we were successful in that area because we had done such a extensive refit.
Yep. So we were up around Desolation, kind of mid-east side of Vancouver Island for 2 months. We had a couple friends visit, which was just amazing.
It was like a holiday after all the hard work we'd
It was
done.
like 30 degrees days up there. The water temperature was 28 degrees Celsius. There was cliffs with rope swings coming out of trees. It was such a good reward after all the hard work we'd put in. But after 2 months, we knew the time was coming. We were like 4 or 5 weeks away from
4 weeks, I think. We took a
from
week to go.
leaving Canada and going offshore. So we made our way back to Victoria, and then we spent 3 weeks back there just doing some finishing touches on Meraki before our departure date. And this was just improving things that we'd learned on that 2-month cruise, and also just preparing the boat safety-wise for more blue water adventures versus just the coastal cruising. Things just like lifelines, clip-in harnesses, making sure all our life jackets worked great, life raft, just stuff like that.
Last minute things.
Yeah.
Safety issues. But we had at that point worked with Totem for 2 months, and they helped us not be overwhelmed. First of all, they actually took a lot of things off of our list that we felt were important, and they were like, no, like focus more on these things, and that was massively helpful. They helped us hone in our list on what was actually important.
Yeah.
It's really nice to have an outside voice to kind of help you narrow down your list and not feel so overwhelmed. All right, so those 3 weeks blew past like that. The final piece to our puzzle that really made us successful was that we left with really capable crew, both aboard the boat and supporting us from land. The trip from the Pacific Northwest down to San Francisco is no joke, and no one should leave without being fully prepared and fully aware of the challenges in this piece of open ocean. We had my parents aboard, Kevin and Shawna, They spent their earlier years sailing pre-kids, then they moved to a powerboat, and they have spent their entire lives on boats and on the water. Having mom and dad aboard, along with Jamie and Bean from Sailing Totem on land, helping us with weather routing, we felt confident that we had the crew, the boat, and the knowledge to make this daunting passage possible.
It gave us the confidence. Like, we had all our bases set, we felt like, to put us in a winning situation. I mean, we ourselves knew the boat better than anybody. We had these people from afar with Totem that had all this wealth of experience for actually how to travel. And then the crew on board, Kate's parents, Kevin and Shawna, the extra help with pretty much everything. And then their just knowledge of boating in general was just really helpful.
I wouldn't have left without mom and dad on board and Jamie and Bean on land. I think that would have been a really stupid move. We really didn't know what we were doing. We were quite naive about just how challenging that first piece of water was going to be. I think we did a really good job setting ourselves up for success.
We're at that last little anchorage where we're doing the few finishing touches for the last 3 weeks in Victoria. And we were like, how are we possibly thinking of leaving? What are we doing? And then I went through my mind, okay, we know the boat, we've got backup online, there's people doing weather, we've got crew on board with experience. What else do we need? What else do we need to do? It's apart from time in the boat, but you gain that time when we go.
Exactly. You learn very quickly.
Yeah.
I often say I'm thankful that I was a little bit naive, or I don't know if I would have gone.
Yeah, there were definitely still bumps in the road along the way, but overall we're so glad we just went for it. We've learned so much and continue to learn every day, and that's very important, to just be open to learning at every anchorage, every time you leave an anchorage, just along the way. You're always learning, you're always finding out something new. And there you have it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's how we got out here in under a year.
We do not want to encourage anyone to go out unprepared. If anything, we're trying to say that yes, we weren't experienced, but we went above and beyond to make sure that we had the backup and the resources and the people surrounding us and supporting us to ensure we were successful. You do not want to just go out here with no experience and no resources to assist you along the way. But it is possible, but you need to make sure that you have your safety precautions in place.
Exactly, and you will build confidence, but it's gradual. And at the start, if you're nervous, don't try and be a hero.
No.
We took the option of picking very calm weather windows at the start, where there wasn't any wind, and we motored most of the way. But any wind from where we left from caused big seas, and to go out in those big seas and just try and sail, oh, I'm going to sail all the time. People do that, but that wasn't for us.
No, and if you have decades of experience, then maybe that's your comfort level. It wasn't our comfort level, so we stayed true to who we were. We would see boats leave and we would choose to wait. And it is possible to come out here and find those calm weather windows. You might end up motoring more, which we certainly did. Between Victoria and San Francisco, we motored probably 90% of the time. Sometimes we were motor sailing, but we pretty much had the motor on most of the time.
Yeah, and we were totally okay with that. We were happy, we got there fast, there was no mucking around, we picked the days, we knew how fast we were going to travel by engine, so it was really easy to pick those start and end points as we hopped down the coast.
Yeah, and that was actually some advice we got from Jamie and Bean of Sailing Totem, is to kind of look at that first portion as a delivery mission, because it is a mission, and the seas out there are unpredictable, and we were kind of seeing like no wind or 25 to 30 knots of wind, and we knew we weren't ready for 25 to 30 knots of wind overnight. So we waited. So we did have a couple of other questions come through this week. I think I've answered most of them, but some of them are kind of separate to how we did it, so I'm just going to quickly zip through those now. Kiwi Ties asked about mom and dad and where they are, and if they're meeting us out here, and when. What's happened to them? So if you do go back a couple of videos, I'll link it up here. At the end of the episode, we get an update right from mom and dad. So right now they are doing a cross-country trip in a motorhome to a boat on the east coast of the States. We definitely planned to be together by now, and unfortunately with COVID and a few other hurdles that they've had to go through, the plan has been a little bit delayed, but it's certainly not extinguished. We'll be together soon, and they will be in these videos a lot more once again.
A Sailing Luna asked what our favorite cruising guide for Mexico is. So we use Charlie's charts coming down the west coast of the States.
It was great for the States.
It certainly was. It points out pretty much everything you need to know in basic form. So being happy with that, we bought that same Charlie's charts book for Mexico. Mexico's huge. There's the outside of Baja, the Sea of Cortez, and then mainland Mexico. And a lot of the cruising guides separate those, and the cruising guides are expensive, so we wanted to just try and find a book that had all those three aspects in one book, and Charlie's charts did. But because it's covering so much distance, it's really
very vague.
It's very vague and doesn't have a lot of information.
We probably wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I don't think. I mean,
unless you want something just really vague.
Yeah. So I pretty much read the reviews from Navionics, which is the navigational charts we use, and Charlie's charts, and combined them together, just to give us a basic idea. And when there was internet, we just researched things a bit more. But as far as other cruising guides, our friends on Jackdaw actually have one that we've looked through a few times, and it's really nice.
It's called Mexico Boating Guide, and it's written by Captain Pat Rains, and it's really nice. It also is all of Mexico, but it just goes into more detail, and the details that we feel like are missing from our cruising guide.
It's got colored pictures.
It is very nice. Hard Departure asked us about Baxter the Corgi and where he is. So we've been kind of quiet about Baxter because it's really hard and complicated to talk about. Baxter was born with liver shunts, and so basically in layman terms he was in liver failure. When he was 18 months old, we did do the very expensive liver shunt surgery, which unfortunately was not successful. He was like one of the 4% that it wasn't successful. When his surgery wasn't successful, it was ultimately decided that he wouldn't be able to join us on our sailing journey. We knew that years ago due to his condition. So we found him an amazing home in Victoria, and he was so well taken care of.
He loved her.
He loved her. Unfortunately, Baxter did succumb to his condition, and he passed away in December. He was only 5 years old. Yeah, there's a lot of emotions there for us. We feel guilty for leaving him. We also feel extremely thankful for the person that took care of him and loved him. She really took the absolute best care of him until his final days, and we feel like really incredibly sad that we weren't there for him, and also that he passed away suddenly and due to his condition at such a young age. We're sorry we didn't keep Baxter updates in our videos, but we actually filmed it a couple of times, and it was too hard for us to talk about. I don't know, it's a very personal thing. I never thought I'd be a person to leave a family member behind, because he truly was a family member to us. We didn't take it lightheartedly leaving him behind. And I think we felt a lot of guilt around that, and we just had a hard time speaking publicly about it. Anyway, there you go. There's the update. I won't cut it out this time. Onwards. Next question. We've swung around now, and the sun is in our eyes. It's really bright. We just moved.
Bopping. Got this blanket shadow.
It's rolly here.
Yeah. LIVEABOARDS Sailing Podcast asked if we truly felt ready before we left.
And the short answer to that is yes and no. And I think we've kind of expanded on that throughout our conversation today. But
so yes, we felt ready because we didn't know what else to do to be ready, and no.
Other than sail more, which is what we were planning to do out here. But so everyone has their own journey.
Yeah.
Did we feel ready? Does anyone ever feel ready? No, I don't think, when I speak to people out here, I don't think anyone ever feels totally ready. If you wait until the boat is ready and you're ready, you might never leave. Timing wise, just map things out, pick a date, and go.
Yeah. Pick a date, so important. That helped us immensely.
Okay, well thanks for watching. If you're looking for free ways to support our videos, like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to be notified when we release a new video, hit the bell. We're stoked to have you along for the ride.
Thank you for watching and for supporting us. It's just nothing but positive comments and feedback, and we love it. Thank you.
We do. It's a great community, this YouTube community. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Can I do the hand thing?
Yeah.
People do that. Oh! Did I get my hand all the way?
Cover it.
Well, I don't want to smack the lens.
If you're interested in supporting the production of these videos, please head on over to our website. There are 2 great ways to show your support. Check out our Meraki merch in the shop, or hit that support button and help keep us afloat.